Hey y'all, it's me. We're going to the garden again. The day that I I walked with y'all the other day, I stayed in the garden a little bit long. My leg wasn't quite healed enough for me to have done that. So I set it on fire again. So it's been probably about a week since I've actually been able to be in my garden to work. So it is weedy. I'll bring you over here and show you. I've got some lavender that's really needing to go in the ground, and I've got some hollyhock. One of those trays of holly, and they look puny. They need some fertilizer. But one of those trays of hollyhocks, they're black, and the other tray. Let me turn you around so I can see. Nope, was looking the right way. The other tray is like a double fringed colored hollyhock. So anyway, I don't know where everybody's at. I think Aaron and Corey have gone to, no, the cars are here. So they're out and about somewhere. They were in the garden earlier. You can see over there they've been clearing where we're going to put the little retail porch or cabin. Whatever it ends up being will be great. And Hugh is somewhere mowing a field of hay for somebody. So anyway, they're scattered everywhere, and I'm still moving slowly because I don't want to re-damage my calf. The calf muscle, let me see if I can show it to you. I don't know, girls, if you can even see this at this point, and it's kind of embarrassing, but if you can see how yellow that is, it's yellow all the way down under my ankle, or under my foot. But what I did, apparently, according to Chelsea, she said it was like a deep tear in my muscle, in my calf muscle. So anyway, I've been kind of not laid up, but not able really to do anything except on flat ground for the last week and a half or so. And that has set me behind. That's not okay. Why can't we just schedule our injuries? I would be happy to schedule my injuries for the middle of January, right? This is just goofy. But Aaron and Corey did dig up my my beets this morning, and some of the leaves I've got them chopped and rinsed and in the refrigerator, and we're going to have those for supper tonight. So this little space right here, I think I'll just use my broad fork after I clean the weeds off of it, and it'll be ready for another whatever I've got growing in yonder. I'll take and show you in a minute. But yeah, it's weedy. Everything's weedy, and I never did get anything done with these. I still may have somebody cut them off because there's some nice looking dark green leaves in there, so I'm still thinking that they can probably be chopped up and parboiled and put in the freezer. But I did watch a YouTube video the other day on using the Yodfa, and this lady, what she did was she just came down in here and she broke it off, like right there and right there, and she just chopped it up, leaves and head, stem and everything, and just used it in a stir fry. And then there were shoots that came out all over the place, so it wasn't a waste. Well, as a matter of fact, you can see where I had taken a cutting of one of them, and this is a shoot coming up from where I took that cutting. So they're not a one and done plant, but we just didn't give it enough of a try. But look at this. They are definitely being used. We've got all kinds of little beneficials in here, enjoying them. Little bees everywhere, and that makes me happy. So I'll be perfectly satisfied if it's being used for my little pollinator buddies and my butterfly. See, a little white butterfly just landed. So it's serving its purpose. And look at the size of the dill. The dill are as tall as I am. Oops. See? They're so tall, and I think that it's monarch butterflies. I'm going to have to watch them, but I think it's monarch butterflies that will lay their eggs in these things. And a few years ago, when I had the garden across the road, it was full of beautiful little caterpillars. They were just beautiful and so filled up. And then, but unfortunately, the birds found them. And yes, I realize that's the cycle of life. But, oh well. It just hurt my heart because I wanted to see those little guys come out of their chrysalis and grow. And then finally we have some snaps. Y'all had told me these, I could never remember the name of them. And y'all had told me, those are snapdragons, Patty. How silly. I just have a hard time remembering the names of things. All right, hold on a minute. I'm going to shake you up while I open up the bottom of this tripod. There we go. I'm going to set you right here. And I brought a bucket of water out here because I want to cut some of these and take them inside and put them in my crystal planter. And no, it's not made of crystal. They're made by my friend Crystal. So I'm gonna come down here and trim that thing, take off part of the leaves, and put them in my bucket. But anyway, I have been, while I've been kind of laid up, I have been watching my videos that I've purchased from the Gardener's Workshop, the Lisa Mason Ziegler. I told y'all about those. And I am so enjoying that. And because my retention, probably because of the ADHD, but because my retention is so short, I'm glad that it's going to be available to watch whenever I need to refresh, which might be pretty regularly. Look at this big bumble. Oops. You see him? Well, he's run on the other side now. There he is. Hey, dude. Well, where you going? Come back. Well, he's going to desert us. All right. I don't want to take all of them. I want to take the ones that are most ready. I mean, obviously I won't take all of them, but I don't even want to take all of them that are blooming, or that the blooms are open on, because I love seeing them down here in the garden as well as in a vase. So I think I'll take 5 or 6 and I'll finish filling up with something inside over there in the garden. All right, one more yellow one. All right. And by the way, I'll put in a plug for Lisa Ziegler's site. If any of you all need a pair of nice shears, these shears are sold on her site, the Gardener's Workshop, and they are sharp as a knife. Well, sharp as a knife. They are also spring-loaded, so those of you that have arthritis in your hands or anything of that nature, makes them a whole lot easier to use because they just pop right back open. And then you can hear, see, everything's just kind of growing slowly, but I don't know. Last year it seemed to grow slowly too, but then when it took off, it took off. So I'm hoping maybe that's what's going to happen. Those little celeries are growing slowly. We had a big salad out of the salad last night, and Hugh has finished picking down there the peas, the sugar snap peas. So that needs to just be cleaned up and that garden hoed off so that something fresh can be put in there. And then there's the continuation of the okra. And over here, this whole little garden all the way down to the end is just multiple different types of flowers. There's my little nasturtium. And over here some more. I think those are little zinnias. And then maybe those are cosmos. As I'm learning, I'm trying to memorize the names of these plants so that I just don't feel so goofy when I'm trying to tell you what they are. But and then we have some squashes and some runners, and they're planted really close together. But as I was trying to explain to you the other day, what I'm going to do, these first rows right here probably won't have anything planted in them. We've got plenty on down further to plant, but I think I'll just run the runners down this way, and probably no more than 6 to 10 feet. I'll just keep them trimmed, and then they'll have to put all of their energy into the fruit that they're producing. But okay. And then the tomatoes are all looking good, but they have got to be staked. And it is supposed to rain this entire week, so Hugh is going to either stake them for me this evening, or at least some point this week. If the ground's pretty hard. But let me show you what happens. You know, these had gotten blown over in the wind, so you can see where they're just kind of laying down. And they need to be staked so that I can train them up. Otherwise, when I'm in here hoeing, I inevitably cut them off because I can't see where the base is. That's never a good thing. And then those little sweet alyssums and the little butterflies and bees are just enjoying those. And it's so worth having things like that in the garden, just for that reason. And there's another little thing of snaps. I'd forgotten I had two little areas with snaps in them. And that lettuce, this little romaine lettuce, has been really good. We've been eating on it. And lettuce, we don't eat enough lettuce. We really need to eat more. And there's my sunflowers, and they're getting big, and they're even beginning to head out just a little bit. If you can see down in there, it won't be probably another couple weeks and we'll have some little sunflowers. And then Hugh's been cutting the he's been cutting the cabbages finally. So there we go. And the peppers, there's peppers, and then down there at the other end of the sunflowers, there's a little bed of peppers. But I'm in the process. I started a bunch of pepper jalapenos, and let me see, what was the other? Serrano peppers yesterday. But my peppers just aren't looking that great. And today I'm going to start a whole tray of not green peppers, but bell peppers. They may just take off. They did last year, but you can see all those heads of cabbage. He's got a recipe for fermented cabbage. I don't think we're going to actually try to put up any sauerkraut, but this is kind of like a fresh sauerkraut, and it's just on the counter. It's done for several days. You put dill in it. We've got fresh dill, and it's just some different spices, pickling spices, and it goes on the counter. It ferments for several days, and then it keeps in the refrigerator for about 3 months. And now that we have this refrigerator on the porch that we're keeping eggs in, I really feel like a redneck, y'all. Yes, we have a refrigerator on the porch, but it will eventually be moved around to the side of the house when we get the little canning shed built. That's what I'm going to call it, is the canning shed. Hold on just a moment. Let me close up my little pruning shears and get them out of my hand so that I do not take a chance on dropping them. All right. And you can hear how breathy I am. It's just, I haven't been getting in any walks at all for the last few weeks, and just too much time spent doing other things. And I'd say that I probably will not be walking. I'm probably going to give it a month before I try to walk and make sure that my calf, is completely healed up. And then we'll be walking late in the evening, y'all. It is It is absolutely getting hot, hot, hot here. So I'm thinking after supper, we'll take some evening walks. But that's my favorite time anyway to walk. It always has been. All right. I can't remember what these plants are. Look, the butterflies love them. Hey, babies. But my mother-in-law always had these growing in her garden. I'm going to set y'all down for a minute. And I'm going to cut a few of those for my flower vase. Are you steady? There you go. I'll just take the tall ones out and let the shorter ones come on. And I am getting really excited about my flower farming. And I am so enjoying Lisa's class. She's just such a good teacher. She explains things thoroughly. And the fact that I can watch her do it is huge, because I am a visual learner. Well, you know that. I'm an artist. So I am definitely a visual learner. And so being able to watch somebody do something, even though I love to read and I love the photographs in a book, it still isn't quite the same as watching somebody do something. Oh, I'm stretching that calf a little bit. All right. There are those. And let's go around here on the corner. I noticed that there were some alyssum. No, what are these? Help me out here, girls. You know what they are. I planted some of these down at Chelsea's, well, when we were living down at Chelsea's. Let me see if I can bend you down here. But the ones that I have growing down there are pink, different colors of pink. All right. You and I were just talking about these this morning, and I remembered the name of them when I was talking to him. It's funny how my mind goes blank so easily. But these are well loved by our little pollinators also. I have a beautiful vase inside that I love putting everything into. And I call it a crystal vase because, like I said, my friend Crystal created this particular design. And it's such a neat design simply because it's flat, and so it can sit in a windowsill. And it's wide, so it kind of fans the flowers out, which really gives them the appearance, the appearance of just a huge number of flowers. All right, we're going to go over here and get some of this greenery. And I don't even know, I think this is a weed. I don't know if it's a weed. I had something planted back here last year, and Aaron and Corey, they're doing their best with this stuff, but you know how it is. You don't want to constantly take over and say, you need to pull that, that's a weed, you need to pull that, that's a weed. So I'm trying not to. But I'll just use them because I'm not even sure right now if they're a weed or not. They can look online and see and get rid of them if they want to. But I just need a few as a filler. Some kind of a little flower that's getting ready to bloom on the end. And I had this corner full of something, so maybe one of y'all can tell me what it is. But I can't remember for certain. But whatever it is, if it is the flower that I had planted last year, it has certainly spread, and that's good. The Sweet Williams spread, and that's good. Had a pretty little vase of those earlier in the spring. All right, so let me take these over and put them in my bucket. And I've got there we go. That's everything we just cut. But I've got a little tablet down in there. I think it's like a chlorine tablet. I purchased those also at Lisa's site. But there's one tablet that you put in your fresh water when you cut your plants, and then when you're in the process of putting them in your vase, you can trim just a tiny little bit off the bottom, and then you put the floral stuff in. So yeah, I've got a mess going on out here. I've got planting to do today, and the starting of my blocking soil. I'll have to redampen it, and so I'm getting ready to just sit on the porch and play in the mud. How much fun is that? But for right now, let's go in and put these flowers in their little vase. Okay. Alright. I know I've got doggies in here. Doggy in the way. Yep. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. That one is Noble. He is Chelsea's doggy. And he ended up staying with us most of the time because as a paramedic she worked graveyards, she was gone, and his sibling is Nala, our little old female. There's the vase I was telling y'all about. See how narrow it is and how wide? It really is just wonderful to work with. And I'll show you all. Alright. I want to run some kind of tepid water in there. But I hope everybody's having a wonderful, what are we today? Weekend. This is Saturday. Some bugs that found a home down in there. I'll just rinse them out. They were dead. Or it was dead. I think it was just one. And here's the rootings I was showing you guys the other day. Here's the rootings that I just put in water. And I think I'm beginning to see just a little bit of rooting happening. Either that or it's wishful thinking. But I set them down so that the sun doesn't hit them directly. This window kind of faces northwest a little bit, I guess. So it's a good window to actually keep things like the violets and I'll take this hat off and my orchids in. But I think that even still, those blooms or those plants really just don't need the extra little bit. Let's go see where the other critters are at. All right. This one is Kaiser. Say hello, hello. And there's old Buddy. Well, his name's Bodie, but I call him Buddy. And Nala. Say hi, Nala. I shaved her this past week. I've got to trim her up a little better. And there's Mimi. Bella, where you going? Come here, Bella. Bella. Come here, darling. This is Bella. And he will be 10 in October. He's my darling. He's my darling. This one belonged to our youngest son. Let me see if I can get him to show you his teeth. No, he says, no, you guys aggravate me like that all the time. All right, come on, let's go out of here. But I wanted to take you back here on the porch again and show you, yeah, boxes needing to go to the recycling center. And this is the other starts that we started of the bell, and they're doing really well. I think we're going to get some roots. So I'll be so excited to send those with my sister in August, and so she can have some of those gorgeous bluebell clematis. I'm not sure what they're called, but anyway. All right, let's go back in here. What you want, bud? I'm not letting you guys go out while I'm on the phone, because I know you'll just go out there and bark at something. All right, let me set you back up for a second. Nope, I don't want to go that way. There we go. All right, set these out of the stove so I can just pass them on down. Oops, let me go get some floors. Alright, I buy these little packets also from the Gardener's Workshop. I'm sure you can get them probably most anywhere, maybe on Amazon. And I don't put the whole bag in there. I usually use half of the bag, and then after a few days I just tip that water up and kind of rinse it just with my little spray. Just rinse down in there and rinse it a couple times, and then put the fresh in there. And most arrangements usually stay fresh for sometimes up to 10 days. It depends on what it is, what the plants are, and so we'll see. We'll see what these guys do. Get all these big leaves off. And I'm going to trim the end just a little bit. I don't know if you guys, can you see what I'm doing? Or do I have you stuck way up in there? I think you can see. But I'll be curious to see if these actually bloom now that I've got them cut down and I'm putting them in the vase. I don't know if they will or not. I probably should just cut these because I feel like I'm putting too much pressure on the stem, and I don't want to do that. Started too low. I'm sure there's some of you out there that could give me wonderful tips on this. I never have been really good at flower arranging. And you'd think that that's something that an artist wouldn't struggle with, but I do. I absolutely do. I always thought I loved working a florist, but I think I would have had to have taken some classes first. We're getting ready to move. I showed you guys last year the mountain mint that I have growing over in one of the little flower beds on the side of the house. We're getting ready to move that down the fence line this week. And there we go, got some greenery in there. Alright, I'm thinking that I probably need to put these great big guys in there first. Oops, I'm knocking the flowers off. Shorten them a little bit. But anyway, there's the mountain mint. I know some of y'all have been talking about having problem with rabbit pressure and things like that in your garden. Check with the look online and check on the mountain mint, because I do know that it repels deer and some types of small rodents, and the rabbits might be one of those things that it repels. And if it is, that would be wonderful. You could plant that all the way around the exterior of your garden and maybe keep from having to worry about your garden being eaten. I've got to check and see what types of rodents it repels. I hope it repels groundhogs, because that's the biggest concern that I have for the vegetable garden anyway. Once we get all of the beds that we're putting on this little place, once we get them all actually put in, or the raised beds built, I don't think I'll have to worry about the pressure of much of anything, because it'll be pretty well, they can still get in them, but I don't think it'll be quite as likely for them to get in them. Let me see, you're taller, you need to go in the back. Let's put you in the back. And I don't want all you guys that are the same color in the same spot. I hope these snaps will last okay. I know that every plant, and that's the part that I haven't gotten to yet in Lisa's information, every plant has a specific time when it's, if you want it in a cut flower arrangement, that it's supposed to be cut. And it's at different points in their bloom cycle. And if you let them get too open, then you're going to have a problem with them not lasting as long as you want them to. So that's a problem that I haven't studied yet. So some of these may do really well and some of them may not. We'll find out, right? But anyway, they'll last a while. I think this is just, I love having, and I don't do this very often. Don't think that this is something I do every week, because I do not. But this is something that I would love to do every week. And now that I'm growing my own cut flowers, I think I want to make it a point to go out to the garden once a week and at least have some of my flowers right here on the countertop, or on the sink rather. Because why not? I mean, I'm a little bit too, I hate to use the word cheap. I hate to use, I'm going to say frugal. I'm a little too frugal to buy the flowers out of the grocery store. And if they were local, I think I'd be more likely to. I just don't like to send these big farmers in other parts of the, well, usually in the southeast, where they're hiring labor and paying them practically nothing. I just don't like to pad their pockets. I don't. If they were hiring people and paying them a decent wage, I might be a little bit more prone to do that. I still can't remember the name of these. And it's just yarrow. It's yarrow, girls. Good gravy. I have a friend that when our kids were small, she told me that that's when, some of the memory supplements were becoming so very popular. And she told me that she had purchased one of those memory supplements. And she says, but the problem is that now I'm going to have to purchase another one so that I can take them and see if I can remember where I put the first one. So that is something like I feel most of the time. All right, these are already getting a little droopy looking, so I don't know how long the yarrow may have to come out of here. We'll see. All right. There comes my son. No, hadn't heard anything from him yet. And Aaron's going to take the trailer over as soon as Hugh finishes cutting this field of hay, and they're going to load it. They're going to load the trailer up and bring everything home. And it'd be nice to have a little bit of extra hay in the barn for this winter, just in case it's a dry or weird winter. Alright. Now, I didn't save anything to put in the front. Let's put this little guy right here in the front. Hard to see what I'm doing when everything is down low. Need it up eyeball level. Cut that one a little shorter. But I really like these little trimmers. They're gonna be just a joy to use in the garden. All right, let's cut these little guys and put them in there. That little pop of purple is just lovely. And I think because they're also so stiff that they'll add some structure. Help everything to stand up a little taller. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, girls. It needed this little bit of purple in there. But any of y'all that are interested in Crystal's vases, I think the last time that I had a photograph of her vase in the windowsill with the Sweet Williams, I think I put her information. Oops. Sorry, girls. Let me see if I can close these guys. They heard something outside, got their attention. Come on, guys. Other side. Come on. No. Okay. Other side. Nala. Hush. 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 Be quiet. Alright. Close them in the laundry room. That doesn't always make it quiet, but it makes it quieter. But if they hear a strange sound outside, they think they have to tell me about it. And I guess that's good, but there's so many strange sounds outside since Aaron moved home that it's kind of a regular. Yeah, it's regular. It's a regular sound. Oh well. And if we put them outside in the backyard, then they're gonna bark at Aaron's dogs. Anyway, let me go get my spray bottle. That's one thing I can do to make them quiet down a little bit. And I'm so glad they're not noisy like the rest of them. Alright, I have my spray bottle. You best be quiet. Hush. I know it's a crazy little tool, but you can see I've got dog written all over it, so I don't accidentally grab one that has Windex or something in it. But they don't like to be sprayed. And I'm glad they don't like to be sprayed, because that gives me something that I can use to actually make them be quiet. Alright. My snaps are kind of getting lost, you see? I don't want them to get way down in there. Let's maybe over just a little bit. Stick it back there. I'm getting anxious to get started on the paintings, and I'm so glad that I'm getting anxious to start on the paintings. That makes me happy, but there's so much going on right now. I think it's probably gonna be just a little while before I'll have time to commit to doing anything with them. But I do think that I can fairly safely say that they'll be ready to start going online by the middle of October. And that gives me the summer working on these flowers and getting my garden grown and in the freezer and in the cans. And oh, and I do want to mention, I don't know if any of y'all live close enough here to consider this, but Hugh and I, instead of selling our cattle across the scale at the Western Carolina over here at the stock market, we've decided that we're going to market it ourselves. And what we have is pasture raised beef. And let me get this one talk in there. It's hard for me to talk and do anything. All right, but the pasture raised beef, and the nice thing about that is, I don't know if y'all are familiar with, you know, years ago when I was a kid, I remember that the Heart Association talked about how bad red meat was for people. And same thing they did with the eggs. They've just, because they didn't have all the information that they needed to make those types of comments, they've really messed things up for farmers that were, well, I don't know if I like that or not, girls. Okay, you move over out of the way. Let's turn a light on. I think that's about as good as it's going to get for today. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Alright, well, Huey's calling me, so I think that he's probably ready for me to come. I'll talk to you all about the beef in the next video. I never know when I'm going to get an interruption. And with the phone, when you're taping on the phone, when you stop, I don't know how to splice them together. With Aaron's GoPro, he can. He can, do all this editing and everything. I can't. So anyway, I just have to either stop and start over or just stop. But I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.